Welcome to the weekly dose of Emuna for Shabbat Kodesh. We're continuing last week's Shabbat audio, where we spoke about 3 levels of holiness that we ascend from level to level throughout Shabbat, starting from Erev Shabbos to Shabbos lunch to Suda Shlishit. 3 different phases that we can sort of elevate ourselves until we reach the point of becoming really one with Hashem, Be'ezrat Hashem. Today I want to discuss the first 2 levels in essentially talking about finding Hashem through love and through fear. So we're going to talk about Erev Shabbat, and we're going to talk about Shabbat lunch. The 2 ways to find Hashem in our world. So the Rambam explains that one of the ways that we can attach ourselves to Hashem is to think about Hashem's creation, right? Kvodo malei olam, shamayim mesaprim kvod el. The heavens tell God's glory. So by looking at Shemayim, by looking at the creation, we are able to attach ourselves to Hashem, and we're able to recognize that it was Hashem that brought about creation. The other way the Midrash teaches us to learn, to get to attach ourselves to Hashem, is by learning Torah, recognizing Hashem through the studying of Torah, and coming to love Hashem, not just by looking and spectating at creation, but also to get to know and delve in the inner wisdom, the infinite wisdom of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, at least scratch the surface, and by doing so, we're able to, through revealing Hashem's glory through creation and through Torah, we're able to attach ourselves and connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And if we look at the difference between the 2, we'll see something very interesting. The physical world, when we look at the physical world and we spectate at the heaven and the earth and the sun and the moons, and we marvel over the human body, and we understand the awesomeness of Hashem and how He created this amazing universe. So this certainly invokes feelings of closeness to Hashem, but it comes from a place of fear. In other words, we look at the whole creation and we are in awe, which is fear, so to speak, of the greatness, of the largeness, of the mighty power of Hashem. Yet on the other hand, when we look at the way of attaching ourselves to Hashem through Torah, that comes more from a place of getting to know Hashem, getting to know His will, seeing that we can attach ourselves to Hashem's will, Be'ezrat Hashem, and that we're essentially able to connect ourselves, and by emulating Hashem's ways, Be'ezrat Hashem, we can actually merge with Hashem, and that brings a sense of love, of heart to heart, sort of a very deep closeness between us and Hashem. And so what we learn from these 2 aspects of how to attach ourselves to Hashem is that those 2 periods of time on Shabbos, Erev Shabbos, and Shabbos Kodesh lunch, afternoon, Mincha, Shacharit time, what we see from here is that Friday night, it's actually a time of attaching ourselves to Hashem through, so to speak, Yirah. We get to, we actually say in the Shabbat Kiddush, Vayechulu Hashemayim va'aretz. We understand we're also in a place of darkness, of concealment, where there's a sort of a sense of distance between us and Hashem, and so that instills in us the sense of Yirah. On the other hand, in the morning, it's a place where we say, Yismach Moshe. It's the morning time. It's a time where we see the shining face of our Hatan, of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And when we see Hashem's face, we're in love with Him. We're overwhelmed by joy. We have a sense of not just feeling the sense of fear, of awesomeness, but we actually have the sense of love, of connectedness, through the point of not having to go through this sense of fear and distance of Gvura that's represented in Friday night. And so that's another angle to what we spoke last week about the different phases and the different levels of holiness and attachment to Hashem that we can, Be'ezrat Hashem, feel on every Shabbat Kodesh, Be'ezrat Hashem. And next week we're going to sort of wrap that whole idea up and talk more about the idea of where the Suda Shlishit comes in, and how does that carry us through for the rest of the week. So in the meantime, let's relish in this wonderful bit of insight and come close to Hashem through ahava, through yira, through understanding that there's both. We need to have both. Gilu verada. We need to have both in order to serve Hashem b'shlemut. And be'ezrat Hashem, we should be zocher this coming Shabbat Kodesh and every Shabbat Kodesh. Be'ezrat Hashem. Have a great Shabbat.